All right, here we go. Here we go. My name is Carter Vail. I'm the Interstellar tennis champion, and I'm here to show you guys a couple of things. First thing I want to show you guys, I have two cameras now. We're leveling up the whole operation. Two cameras, I can do stuff like this. Boom. Bang. Boom. I don't know how I'm going to use it necessarily, but I'm very excited about it. What kind of cameras are they? I'm not going to tell you because the people who work for that company won't respond to me, and I'm upset about it. Today I want to show you a little bit of a song breakdown of my tune "I Want You," because it has surpassed Melatonin as my number one song, which I'm super excited about because for forever it seems like Melatonin was my number one song, and that's annoying. I mean, I'm super excited that I had a song that was doing well, but also like putting out music and having nothing ever beat it is a little frustrating. I'm gonna close the window real quick. There we go. It was a little frustrating. But now we have a new number one in town, which is great, and I'm excited about it. And this is a song called "I Want You." And so I figured I'd hop on the Interstellar Tennis podcast with Carter Vail and show you guys kind of what I'm doing in the song, how it all works. And yeah, that's all. So let's dive right into it. Let's listen a little bit first. Here we go. Now you should be able to see the screen as I do this, if I'm doing this all correctly.
You're uninvited to my party, but you're living in my head. I'm trying not to think about all the stupid shit I said as we were standing in the kitchen at your brother's barbecue. I make my way into the backyard. I'm diving in the pool, cause I want you. 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 I want you.
Okay. So that's I'm not going to play the whole song right now because I don't want to take up your time like that. But that's a general, that's kind of what the song is like. And I started this song as I kind of had, I was coming home from the dentist's, just for a checkup, a dentist checkup. And I heard some instrumental song came up on my Discover Weekly, and it was like an odd bossa nova song, but it was just instrumental. And as I was driving home, I ended up writing the entire all the verses over this bossa nova song. It was like kind of like electronic. It had like a 4 on the floor, heavy kick drum, but it was like super different track wise. And so I was coming home from the dentist and I wrote all the lyrics to it. So it came out really quickly, which was awesome. It's always a great feeling when songs come together really fast. And so then I had these lyrics without having any track for it, because I obviously wasn't going to use the same track that I randomly heard on my drive home. And so later on, I came up with this guitar riff, and it was kind of the cornerstone for the production of the track. It sounds like, see if I can find it. It's a pretty big project. I mean, there's almost 100 tracks on it. This thing. Pretty simple. it's pretty simple, but it's also like it's got a cool thing to it. And all that is doubled electric guitars, panned hard left and right. I like anytime I do guitar stuff, I like to pan it hard left and right. I just feel like it makes stuff feel good. So yeah, each one has some OTT. Each one has OTT on it. God, I gotta figure out how to fucking place this mic where it's not gonna be super in the way. Each one has OTT on it. Not doing all that much, but still good sauce. And Arturia tape, Mellow-Fi, doing some good stuff. You know, I just really wanted like heavily distorting guitars, cranking the shit out of it, and I wanted them stereo panned, because they're also doubling the bass line. And there's something kind of cool, in my opinion, about having a bass line and guitars kind of doing this pentatonic thing. And it doesn't actually catch that line, the da-dum boom boom. And so I think that's super cool. It's so simple, but it's kind of got like a "Don't Stop Believing" kind of riff quality to it. How it's like super pentatonic and just kind of repeats indefinitely, or like I don't know what else. And on the bass, we have distortion compression from UAD. Distortion is the Sound Toys decapitator. And the it's side chaining a little bit to the kick, as you can see. But like when I'm EQing stuff like this, I'm gonna watch this EQ moment on the other camera. When I'm EQing stuff, I like to not do very much because EQing is boring, and so I keep shit as minimal as possible. I really don't get surgical with stuff. I feel like I've been through a phase of production where I did get really surgical with things, and I'll be like, oh, where is the, fucking, like, trying to get really, like, where's the little clicky thing? Anytime I would do this kind of stuff where it's like you're really getting in the weeds of a cue that's higher than fucking, like, 2.5, I just found it to be not useful, and you just end up chasing your tail too much. So anytime, I don't like doing the surgical stuff. I just do basic movements like that. A lot of high passing, etc. And then on the drums we have, let's see. I tracked each drum separately, because I'm a bad drummer. Oh, you can hear that it kind of cuts off in the beginning of each loop. Where's that guitar? Oh, never mind, it doesn't. And it's doubled with a sample replaced kick, so it's both. That kind of sounds like shit, but it's in there. So, adds a little high end, I guess. I don't know what I was thinking. I mean, the snare sounds pretty nice. And then there's some rim clicks going on in a lot of this. And then the hi-hat. I don't necessarily love this drum tone now. It's a little like, it feels a little over compressed, but also I guess that's kind of a stylistic thing for this song. I don't know if I'd necessarily mix it the same way now. And I really like how the toms are so distorted. That's pretty cool. But as you can see, like most of the processing is happening on the drum bus. So if we go to the drum bus right here, here's what's going on with it. First, we have the SSL bus compressor. So this is it alone. Sounds fucking terrible. And then we start putting stuff on. This is the UAD bus compressor, and you can see I used the preset drum bus because I like going on presets. I think people that shit on presets are full of shit, and there's a reason that they're there. It's because they're useful. They're a useful starting point. So you can see this is just catching snares and doing a little tonal stuff. This is where it really gets gnarly. I put on the TG12345, which is a Waves plugin that I randomly found because I pirated all the Waves stuff in college, but then now I have it for real. So listen to how hard that's hitting. Off. Oh. That's doing like a lot of the heavy lifting on this thing. Right? Yeah. And then after that, we have another compressor. We have Devil Lock. I mean, it's absolutely smashed. And then we have the Studer tape from UAD. Fantastic plugin. They also make this in the UAD-X version, and they both sound amazing. I use this on all my drums. I use this on pretty much every stereo out, which is a little weird, but I love it. It kind of scoops the mid-range in a really nice way. And then we have this. And then Transient Shaper. Which after like all that compression is just taking down the sustain. So look, it's not well organized, but it's how I did it. So there's the drums. We got the bass. Sounds hot. Tambourine. And then these claps add a whole bunch. Claps are the secret sauce for any chorus. If your chorus doesn't have a clap, either going clap clap at the end of each one or on every snare, it's a bullshit chorus. You need fucking hand claps anytime a chorus happens. And that's final. That's not even up for debate. Next up we have some percussion. Oof. I think that's super cool. That's a patch that I use all the time that I built out of, I think, just splice samples. But I think it sounds really nice. And then, yeah, let's just hear the percussion, all the percussion elements together. Not the bass, but the tambourine claps. I think tip time. I think one of the most important parts of music production is auxiliary percussion. If your song feels like it's lacking something, tambourine, little drum machine, hand claps, maybe a shaker changes the entire game. It's like, it doesn't ever, and you don't have to have it loud. It's just like the little thing that brings it to the next level every time. 'Cause I mean, if you listen to this song and take out some of these added little percussion elements right here, let's see. Bullshit. It's fine, but put them back in. totally changes the game. It makes everything feel better. And it's just like it's all about the added motion, really. And so often I kind of feel like people are like, it needs more. Let's put another guitar on it. Let's put another synth on it. No. 2 guitars, 1 synth, have that goddamn percussion be the thing that gets added. Anyway, that's the end of tip time. Back to you. So that's most of the instruments aside from the Juno that's happening. Here are all the synths. Let's find a spot where a lot of synths are happening. I mean, there's a couple different pads going on. Most of them are my wonderful Juno 106 that I play pretty much exclusively now. Roland just gave me like 6 months free of their new cloud service, and I've been playing around a little bit with it. They have a version of the 106. It's like the software instrument version of all of their new plugin or of all of their synths, and there's some amazing stuff. The 106 sounds really great, and the drum machines I've found to be really cool. Like they have the TR 808, 707, 606, all that stuff. And I find that a big hurdle for me in being creative with music is coming up with new and interesting drum stuff. And so having those has actually been super helpful. That being said, when I can, I just use my real life Juno, my hardware one. But the stuff coming out of the software versions are fantastic. So here are the layers of synths. I like this one. They're all so sidechained to the kick. What is this? Oh, my favorite synth sound that I had off the Waldorf Blofeld. I had this for a little bit, and then I ended up not using it so much, so I gave it to one of my friends. That's a great sound. One more time. That sounds so nice. I love that. And I auto sampled it, so now I don't have the thing, but I have the Blofeld's, that one sound. There's also this. And I think this whole, like, what I labeled the pad lick is the only, like, added melody really happening, aside from the main guitar riffs. And all it is 2 guitars. Like if we take off this LFO. It's that guitar lick and then a crystallizer on top of it, giving it all that really crazy sound. This. That shit. Just a little bit of magic. And then 2 Junos copying it in 2 different sounds. It's a whole thing. And it's also being sidechained to the kick. Ooh. To make it even more dancey. Yeah, so let's listen to all the music parts, which I have bussed to the a separate bus called the music bus. Yeah. So that's most of the production elements. Aside from the vocal, let's really quickly talk about vocal mixing, because vocal mixing is super important. And so I guess, yeah, I don't know. Probably the most important part about mixing is getting a vocal to sit right. It's vocals and drums, pretty much. So what I do for vocals pretty much every time, since moving here about a year ago, I've been producing vocals, my own vocals about the same every time. And what it's been is the SD1 into my Avalon 737, and that goes into the UAD Apollo Twin. Now, you might be thinking, if you're a gear person, if you know some stuff about gear, you're thinking, oh, he's got an Avalon. That's where all the sauce for the vocals is coming from. It's not. That's not where all the sauce from the vocals is coming from. The sauce from the vocal is coming from the Devil Lock. The Devil Lock is my most utilized vocal plugin. Let's hear it without all this crap and then with it. So here's the vocal. And granted, it is being compressed on the way in, but not through the Avalon. It's being compressed through the UAD 1176 copy and LA2A. So it is going through compression on the way in, but it's not too much.
Party, but you're living in my head. I am trying not to think about all the stupid shit I said as we were standing in the kitchen at your brother's barbecue. I make my way into the backyard. I am diving in the pool 'cause I want you.
So, I don't know if you can tell right out the gate, but that is not that cool. That's pretty lame. Just because I like a dry vocal that's compressed to all hell, and that doesn't have it yet. So first off, we do the UAD Neve 1073. The 1073 is just
Invited to my party, but you're living in my head. I am trying not to think about all the stupid shit I said as
it's not doing that much. It's adding actually a little bit of top end. I'm using it as an EQ. And then OTT does great work. If you don't have OTT, it's a free plugin, and it's probably the most, maybe my second favorite vocal plugin. And it's what I do with OTT is I have it on the default setting. I don't fucking change anything except for the depth. I roll it back to like between 14 and 20%. So without OTT.
Invited to my party, but you're living in my head. I am trying not to think about all the stupid shit I said as we were standing in the kitchen at your brother's barbecue. I make my way into the backyard. I am diving in the pool 'cause I want you.
See, it changes a lot. But still, nothing, it's not there yet.
Invited to my party.
We add in a gate and a de-esser. Nothing too exciting there, but, mandatory. And then finally,
invited to
the Devil Lock.
Invited to my party, but you're living in my head. I am trying
That's
not
the
to
sauce.
think about all the stupid shit I said as we were standing in the kitchen at your brother's barbecue. I make my way into the backyard. I am diving in
It just adds all the like distortion and crunch and flattens the shit out of it. And so my favorite way to produce vocals is to put it into Devil Lock, have the mix at 10, and then the crunch and crush at 1 and 2-ish. We keep that pretty low, but I also have it on the fast release. And so it's a super aggressive compressor, but I think people sometimes are a little shy about compressing a vocal, and I think it's because we're told a lot of the time that a natural vocal is the way you want to go. Fuck a natural vocal. I want my vocal to sound like I'm speaking from inside your head. I want my vocal to be like right in the prefrontal cortex talking into your brain. And that's not what a natural vocal sounds like. Prefrontal cortex going straight to the freaking back of your cranium is Devil Lock on 10.
Invited to my party, but you're living in my head. I am trying not to think about all the stupid shit I said as we were standing.
So that's that. Past that, we have What else? Oh, another really fun vocal moment in this song is the gang vocals. Let's hear that.
I want you, 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 I want you.
And that is some secret sauce. That's me singing about, 8 times, and then Sable singing a few times as well. But let's go one by one because it's so fun. So first,
You, I want 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 you. I want you. I want you. I want you. I want you.
Woo! Okay, so I'm seeing that in a lot of different ways, which kind of gives it the appearance of a lot of different people singing it. There's like some me doing like a low one, and then there's some me kind of doing like a really trashy, like kind of junky way to sing, and I mean like trashy in terms of not a lot of technique. And so I think that's really fun. And then it's still going to the devil lock, which is giving it all the sauce. Like that's fine. That's hot. And yeah, that's most of what's happening in this song.
To my party, but you're living in my head. I am trying not to think about all the stupid shit I said as we were standing in the kitchen at your brother's barbecue. I make my way into the backyard. I am diving in the pool cause I want you. I want you. I want.
Yeah, I mean, aside from that, just like orchestrationally, there is not a lot of things happening, which is, I think that's a really good thing in music. If you can keep not a lot of instruments going on at the same time, it's better for the song, because as soon as you have like too much stuff happening, especially in this kind of music, I get ear fatigued. I suddenly can't like pay attention to the parts. But if you have like a guitar over here and a keyboard and then the vocal and then the drum set and the bass, all of a sudden every part matters a lot. And if every part matters, you're writing parts that are more interesting. Versus, if you're every 4 bars you add like another synth comes in, and then there's always new stuff happening. The actual parts become a little lazier. So don't do that. Or do. You can do whatever you want. There's also this. Let me hear this real quick. Another great guitar part. That sounds fucking cool. Okay, the last thing I really want to talk about is what's happening in this bridge. Here it is all together. So all that is, we have the drum kit. We temporarily lose the hi-hat in that section, which is, just a momentary change. We also lose bass, which feels really good for a bridge. Percussion is mostly out except for the cup solo. Listen to this cup solo. And it's going through the kind of like wobbliness is from the Arturia Mellow-Fi plugin, and the flutter is up really high, and the wow is up about a quarter of the way, and it just it sounds cool. Ooh. And so that's kind of what's happening musically. In terms of vocals, I have this whole group called BS, and it's me and Sable going back and forth, and the vocals are super affected. So this is what it sounds like alone. Oops.
I don't want to be the voice of reason.
Talk to me now.
In your head while you're trying to sleep in.
And on my vocal, there's a little altar boy changing the pitch, and there's a ring shifter which is giving it kind of all the craziness. Yeah, and so that's pretty much everything that's happening in this song. But the reason I'm doing kind of a mixed breakdown is because I think that people get really hung up on mixing as like the bottleneck for making music, and especially when people are starting out, I think they way overcomplicate the mixing process. In general, I think it's more important to have a song finished than have it be perfect. I certainly don't think that any of the mixes of my songs are perfect. I just think that I got to a point when I was like, yeah, that's good. Mix-wise, that's good enough. And I'm going to be the only one that can really like tell what's wrong with it, because no one's listening as hard as you are to your own music. And, I think, you can't worry about it too much. And, also kind of an important tenet to how I mix is I try not to manipulate individual tracks too much. It's much better, in my opinion, to mix groups or buses. And so like when I'm mixing drums, it's way more important for me to be putting plugins onto the stereo out of the drum bus versus really EQing the kick drum and really EQing the snare and trying to put compression on the hi-hat and doing all this stuff. And even this project, I think I did way more on the individual tracks than I would now. Like if you look at a project from like this past couple of weeks, the kick is whatever the kick is doing in the room. The snare's not being changed except for maybe a high pass filter. There's really not a lot happening until you get to the stereo buses of each group. And so I think that's for me, the best way to mix is because, preventing yourself from getting too far in the weeds is always a good idea. So that's a little insight into how I like to make stuff. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to talk to you folks about. I don't think so. But yeah, if you guys like me doing this kind of stuff, if you guys like hearing this kind of stuff, go ahead and, follow and subscribe and all that stuff. Tell me what song you want me to break down next. I might go ahead and upload stems for this if people want to mix it or fuck around with it and make something new. So let me know in the comments if that's something that would be interesting. And yeah, I think that's all. Thank y'all for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being here. Thanks for partaking in the Interstellar Tennis Championship. Thanks for being my friend. Thanks for being honest with me. Thanks for never letting me down. And thank you for listening. I'll see you around. Bye.